Well, you had to start Monday morning somehow. Listen, guys, top 100 list came out from, the NFL. Yeah, do I disagree? Yeah, I disagree quite highly with some of it. But I also think they got a couple of things right. Let's get into it, man. We already know where this is heading. Let's go. What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching us. Once again, guys, my name is Steven Hyder, and this is Gate City Sports Channel. All right, guys, so NFL released its top 100 list. We're just going to dive right into this, guys. Two players were left off that list. Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz. Look, they're tripping. Straightforward, they're tripping. Look, I'm not a huge Dak fan. You're tripping if you're trying to say that he's not a top 100 player. Yeah, it's nuts. Carson Wentz. You're tripping if you're trying to tell me that's not a top 100 player. I understand, guys. I don't put a whole lot of stock in this, and this is what I'll tell you guys. Don't sweat this crap. Who cares? Who cares? It's a popularity contest. To me, this doesn't matter. This is a fraternity thing. This is guys who like each other, voting each other up. To me, it's not a big deal. This doesn't have any weight. It doesn't have any bearing. Although, look, there was one player that was added to this list, guys. I'd like to give congratulations to because I do think that this kid has been under-recognized, and that's Josh Allen. It's easy to look at a guy like Josh Allen and think to yourself, like, oh, man, like top 100. He played well last year, guys. I'm just going to be real with you. Look, if you look at all of his advanced analytics, and I'll pop them up to the screen as I read them for you. Time to throw, 2.85 seconds, under 3 seconds. I mean, not ridiculously holding the ball on every down. Completed air yards, 6.2. Intended air yards, 9.4. He's trying to push it down a little bit, and he's completing it decently. Now, those aren't the big metrics. I always tell you that the metric I like to measure to see if a guy is checking the ball down is your air yards to the sticks, which he was in the positive, +1. So positive 0.1, not +1, but positive 0.1, which means he was throwing right at the first down marker. Now, look, we all know that Buffalo is not predicated on, deep passes and things like that. I'm not trying to say that. And, of course, the weapons he has there helps him. And it's going to help him more, guys, because he just got Stephon Diggs, who also is a deep threat. So I would expect this to kind of continue. But if you dig deeper into the analytics, on-target throws, 73.2%, which is good. Now, I will ding him this for the bad throws because when he's on, Josh Allen is really on. He throws a pretty ball. But he does have a 20.3% bad throw rate, and that's something he does have to improve upon. It. So that's why I can understand guys putting him down low on the top 100, like in the that 90 to 100 range, because he does need to work on some of those throws because sometimes his mechanics get off, and he does miss throws quite, he does a little too much sometimes. His pressure rate was 23.2%, which means he was getting pressured a lot. I mean, that was the 12th highest in the league. So he's pretty close to that bottom third number in terms of how much pressure he receives. Buffalo's got to do a better job of keeping this kid upright. But when you look at this kid in terms of him being a playmaker, he's got advanced analytics to support him and stats to support him being a playmaker and justifiable to this ranking. Most rushing touchdowns for quarterbacks last season. Josh Allen is proving to be a very dynamic football player. And, hey, it's a good mix of things. It really is for this kid. I like to filter by things and really take a look at the advanced analytics of things to get a good feel for if a guy's justifiable or not. When I look at the stats for trailing, it's only a couple year sample size, but look, he's 51 of 93, which is 54.83%. He's got 628 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, and that's trailing with anything with 4 minutes or less. I took that 4-minute and that 2-minute stat when trailing, and I combined it together to give you 4 minutes or not. When you're trailing, can you trust this kid to drive the field for you? Yeah, he's done pretty well, guys. I mean, I can understand and I can justify this ranking. What now? Look, are they tripping about the Carson Wentz thing? Would you take Josh Allen over Carson Wentz? Get out of here, man. Carson Wentz is on Buffalo. Josh Allen's not seeing the field. Let's just be real. Now, still deserving of the ranking because I still feel like this kid he's in very much an underappreciated quarterback. And I do think that there is progression in his game. I can get behind this. The guy that I understand why they put him in the top 100, but I think you're absolutely tripping because he's not a top 100 player in his second year, is Kyler Murray. I disagree with this one. The Kyler Murray situation. Yeah, that one bothers me because it's a hard one to put your finger on. On one hand, do I believe in the kid's talent? Sure. I think the kid is talented, and I think, hey, they're an interesting football team to watch this season, the Cardinals are. Especially with, having Hopkins there with them. But at the same time, you're getting yourself into this debate where I know the underlying data and the underlying analytics behind Kyler Murray, and they weren't that great. Some were strong. He had a couple of strong things that make you feel encouraged about his future, but then he also had some things where you're like, what are you thinking? Like, seriously. Anytime you got to go get a player to uplift another player, it's kind of hard to justify a top 100 listing. Let's just be real. I highly disagree with it. It's a kid that I think has a very bright future, and I do think that in time he could be a top 10 quarterback. You're trying to rate this kid a top 10 quarterback in his sophomore year. You are tripping. Kyler Murray could be a top 50 player in the next 2 or 3 years. I don't want you guys to think that I'm just completely dogging him. But when you dig into what happened last year, you are straight up tripping trying to put this kid in the top 100. Time to throw. Look, he's getting the ball out of his hands quickly, 2.73 seconds. All right? But let's filter it and let's take a look at what comes along with this, okay? Completed air yards, 5.1. Intended air yards, 7.1. Man, this kid is check down city, and I'm about to give you the final nail in the coffin to prove this. All right. Air yards to the sticks, measuring how short you're throwing it to the sticks. Negative 1.9. Bro, this kid is checking it down at Drew Brees' rate. This is a big check down machine here, guys. Like, I'm sorry, you cannot put a check down guy in the top 100 who hasn't had a winning season, who hasn't led his team to the playoffs. Like, you're tripping, man. Like, Drew Brees, you can give it for mitigating circumstances. He hoisted a Lombardi. I still think Drew Brees is greatly overrated, but I understand why you put guys like Drew Brees in there. You hoist a Lombardi, you get respect. I think that they are flat out tripping right now. I mean, this is straight up tripping with these numbers. Let's just be real. Let's call it what it is. This is an overstatement. Now, I do want to give you guys some hope here to understand why I still think Kyler Murray in 2 to 3 years will be a top 10 quarterback. On target, 73.5% of throws. That's a good rate, guys. I mean, he throws a pretty ball when he throws it. Bad throw percentage, 17.9. That's respectable, guys. For a rookie quarterback, he's not throwing a lot of bad throws. Now, keep in mind, he's checking it down, so, yeah, your bad throw percentage is going to be quite small if you're not pushing the ball. But nonetheless, like, he's got some advanced analytics here to support and to make people feel like he could grow in the future here. His pressure rate was 20.6%, which means, look, he had the 10th fewest pressure rate in the NFL. So the Cardinals, with their timing and rhythm offense, this spread concept that they run, look, it's definitely getting the ball out of his hands fast. It's a check down offense. It's keeping pressure off the kid and it's letting him use his athletic abilities to do things. I still think this is very much a system thing. I don't put system quarterbacks this high. To me, it's a little ridiculous. The way I looked at this was he wasn't getting a lot of pressure. He's checking the crap down out of this ball, but he's pretty good with his good target rate and his bad throw rate. I see reason to hope here. System quarterbacks this high. To me, it's a little ridiculous. The way I looked at this was he wasn't getting a lot of pressure. He's checking the crap down out of this ball, but he's pretty good with his good target rate and his bad throw rate. I see reason to hope here. And look, even when you look at his trailing on the fourth quarter statistics, this is a one-season sample size, guys. There's a lot to be left here. There's reason to think that this kid could be pretty good. I mean, look, trailing in the fourth quarter, so you go take that 4-minute and that 2-minute stat, you bring it together, you get these numbers. He's 33 of 55, which is 60% completion rate. It's pretty good. It's only one season sample size, but that's good. That's encouraging. 233 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I wouldn't say this kid was a detriment to his team when trailing. At the same time, guys, like, putting these kind of guys ahead of Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott, like, you got to be serious, guys. Like, come on, man. Like, the only thing I can say is let this motivate you. Let it motivate you. It's a popularity contest. Cool. I'm glad they think that way. Most of these dudes aren't really digging in deep to the research to do this. This is just, hey, man, like, I like the way this kid plays. I'm friends with this guy. I'm going to put him up here. It's not really digging down deep into, like, what's actually going on. And, yeah, did Dak Prescott and Carson Wentz get disrespected? Yeah, big time. At the end of the day, though, guys, listen. Go hoist a Lombardi. and shut people up. This is how you do it, guys. Carson, hoist that Lombardi and shut this crap down. That's how we take care of business. We just go out there, we hoist the Lombardi, and we let the chips fall where the chips fall. That's just the bottom line here, okay? Like I said, I'll give it credit for putting Josh Allen finally in the top 100. I do think that the kid was deserving of it based upon what he did last season. I mean, he got the Bills into the playoffs. I mean, the Bills look like they could be the favorites in the AFC East. I think between them and New England, it's going to be really interesting to watch those games. I gotta pull back on the Kyler Murray, man. Like, they're tripping on that one. Kyler Murray's got a lot of good to like about him, but putting him top 100, you're tripping. Like, come on, man. Like, I can't even take you seriously if you're putting out analysis like that. Like, you can go off of, like, yeah, but if you project him, cool, that's great, projections. But I'm talking about what he did. There's just no way, man, I can put him, above a lot of other quarterbacks. He's better than some of the, just complete and utter trash that's out there. But, I mean, he's got a lot of development to do himself, and I know the numbers, man. This kid was checked down city. These are my thoughts, guys. I want to ask you, what do you think? I don't think it's a big deal. I think Carson should let this motivate him and just shut him up by hoisting the Lombardi. That's how you shut this crap down. Who cares? I'd rather be the underdog than to be the person being rated. Right now, play the underdog card. We thrive on the underdog card. Thank you for more bulletin board material. We need the motivation. I don't know what it is about Philly, but we need extrinsic motivation to get ourselves up, and this is going to help. I appreciate you, NFL, for doing that. All right, y'all, these are my thoughts. Like I said, leave me your thoughts down below. Comment and check everything out. By the way, new podcast episode is up talking about top 10 quarterbacks. Battlebirds podcast, guys. You can check it out on Apple, iTunes. You can check it out on Stitcher. It's up on pretty much everything, guys. Pretty much every platform. If you can't find it on one of your podcasting apps, hit me up. You tell me which one you can't find it on. I'll put it out there for you. It's on Spotify. It's on Pandora. It's on all those, guys. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out here. You know we end these videos. We do a little EAGLES. What can you do, guys?